Usually what happens with businesses is like you get investment, you grow, you scale, you grow a team, and then sometimes like the third time before you get an acquisition. Whereas we went straight from no investment to acquisition. It was amazing, learned so much. And then it's a massive anticlimax. You've done this amazing thing that everyone it's everyone's goal, and then you get to it and you're like, oh, what next? Like, it's so scary to go to an event on your own. We're creating a completely new wave of social media. First month we had like 10,000 downloads, and it was like breaking every single day. We get DMs from people just want to let you know that I've met my new best friend on CLIQ. All of these things that we're seeing, that's what drives me.
Yeah. Nicola, welcome to the Driven podcast. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No, really excited to have you on. As you know, we had Jason on recently, and we got into Jason. For everyone listening, is your business partner, but he's also your boyfriend as well.
Yeah.
And we spoke a lot about the businesses you've run. You know, there's been one in the past and one that you're running now. And the goal of this podcast is to give as much value to the listeners as possible. So we're going to talk about a few different things, but for the listeners at home, who is Nicola and what is driving you today?
So I'm Nicola. I'm one of the co-founders of CLIQ, and I'm a second-time founder. So previously had a beauty tech startup. CLIQ is a community app, so it's all about bringing people together. I'd say what driven means to me, I think it's just pushing yourself forward every single day. I think as a founder, you can get so wrapped up in this hustle culture, work all the time. And it's so hard to find the balance between two. And I think you just have to really look back and realize what really drives you. A lot of people are driven by money, but a lot of people are driven by purpose and passion. And very early on into CLIQ, it was actually before we started CLIQ. This is a really random story, but me and Jason went to see a shaman, and I hope he's not told the story before.
No.
But we were in Bali, didn't know what we wanted to do with our lives, went to this shaman, and he said to us, if you follow your passion, then money will follow. And that's always stuck by me. And now my driver is my passion. It's the purpose. It's what CLIQ does for people. When I go to an event and I introduce myself, I'm the founder of CLIQ, and someone's like, oh, the app on my phone. Or we get DMs from people just want to let you know that I've met my new best friend on CLIQ. All of these things that we're seeing, that's what drives me.
Yeah.
It's not the materialistic element of it, which is obviously a byproduct of it. And of course, everyone likes nice things, but it is that purpose. And I think with being driven, you need to find out what your purpose is.
Oh, I absolutely love that answer. That feeling when you're at one of them events and someone says, they got it on their phone or they met their best friend, that must light a real fire inside.
It gives me goosebumps every single time. I feel like you never get over that feeling, especially it's people that you've never even met before that have heard about CLIQ from somewhere or something. And it's really hard that we can't measure where all of this is coming from. There's probably so many of those stories that we don't even know. But it's just seeing the impact out in the wild is crazy. We've had people that's text us being oh, I was sat on the bus and the girl in front of me was on CLIQ.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
what?
I built that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It blows my mind. But that's really, really what drives me.
No, I love that. What does community mean to you? Obviously, everything you're doing in business is around community, but what does that actually mean? Yeah,
I think community is such a buzzword at the moment. I think a couple of years ago, community wasn't really talked about. Obviously, community's always been a thing. If you think back in the day, our parents would go to the local pub. My mum and dad met at the pub randomly. They just turned up one night to meet some friends. Didn't even know who was going to be there. You don't call people and text people, you just turn up. And then they met each other there. And we don't do that anymore. We're not as social. We don't have these kind of third spaces. Back in the day, it was pubs, churches, social clubs. We don't have that. And then we kind of lost this sense of community, I think, through COVID and all of these things. And now people are really wanting to bring it back. But I think people are seeing it as a buzzword. And people think community, they think run club. I think that's what people think straight away. Yeah. And there's so much more to a community. I think to me, community is such a feeling. It's how you feel when you're around like-minded people. And it could be 4 of us sat in a room, or it could be 500 people. But it's about that feeling when you feel you're really connected to people through that like-minded interest.
Yeah.
And you've got so much in common, and you just really support each other. That's what I think community is. I think it's massively glamorized and glorified that it has to be 500 people in a room and they're all doing this and it's really cool and trendy. And community is not always about that. It's just about having people around you that support you.
Yeah, no, I agree. And what is it that excites you most about building a community?
Oh, what excites me most about building a community? I think
you've got your own community.
Yeah, I have, and I always forget about this. obviously CLIQ just takes up 99.9% of my brain capacity. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I actually have my own community as well. So one of the reasons I started CLIQ was because me and Jason moved to London. We'd been here about a year with our previous business and we exited that. And after that was like, we had so much free time. I was like, want to meet people and found it really difficult was downloading all the different social apps out there. Weren't social at all. They're more like swiping through people, like you'd swipe for dates, like friendship apps. And then there's like Facebook groups, which are so outdated. I was like, it's really hard to meet people. And I just wanted to meet female founders. And I didn't want to meet female founders in a business setting. I wanted to meet a female founder that I could go for like brunch with on a weekend, go to Pilates class with, that just gets it. Because I think when you're a founder, people that aren't founders don't get what you have to go through.
They have no idea.
They have no idea. And you're like trying to vent to them about something and they're like, well, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like you can't just not do it. Like you
as
have
easy
to
as
get through
that.
it. So like having the supportive people around you, I think is so important. And I was really struggling to meet the right types of female founders. And then I went to an event and I met Sienna, who I'm a really close friend with now. And then we started going to events together because we were like, at least if we don't meet anyone, we've got each other we can chat to. And then we also realized, like, why are we wasting our time? We might as well just go for a drink with each other. And then we were chatting more, and I was like, it'd be so cool if we could just bring people to us. So we started the Supper Series, which is a female founder, well, not just female founders, also like creative women in business.
Yeah.
Started off as a supper club. We had 4 people that came to our first one, and we knew them because we like invited them. And now it's been a year, and we have like 20, 30 people at each one. We have wait lists of like 30 people. We've done brunches. We did like headshots and networking like the other week and like drinks events because there's such a gap in the market, I think, for cool founder events.
Yes.
Where you don't walk into a room, your own name tag, you've got like a cheap glass of wine and you just speak to like 100 people and then you walk away and you've like made no friends. Like we want to create more of an intimate setting. And with that, like actually seeing people connect without me and Sienna even needing to be involved in the conversation is so powerful. Like there's times where we just stood there at the side watching everyone connect. It's like people don't come for us. They come for the feeling and the connection. And I think that's also what true community is where the community founder doesn't need to be there all the time and they don't need to be driving it. Like, yeah, they have to create the events and the experience, but they can take a step back and watch everyone just connect and walk away from it as friends because you've built that environment as opposed to it having to be you all the time.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing, and there's something that's actually on my list to do one day. I feel like it's been there a little while, and it's one of the ones lingering at the bottom, and it needs to come back up a little bit. But you touched upon you had a previous business that you exited, and in our episode with Jason, if anyone wants to find out how you built that, they can listen to that episode. But I want to get into the post-acquisition part because I know quite a few people that have sold their business, and it's not always what they think it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
You know, they think they're going to come away with this big bundle of money and go and live on a beach somewhere and do nothing. But that's often not the case. So what was it like for you when you left A&B?
Yes. Yeah. So it was an absolute rollercoaster, that business. And yeah, Jason spoke about it probably in the other episode, but it was 3 years in total, which is actually quite a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think we crammed so much into those 3 years because as well, we came from no business experience, no tech experience. We'd never done anything like it before. So literally just jumped straight in, figured it all out ourselves. And within them 3 years, like made so many mistakes. Like some of them like are so embarrassing that it would even happen. But I think in the early days when you've never done it before, like how are you supposed to know?
It's not embarrassing. You've got to learn as you go.
Exactly. But I look back and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I didn't know that. But just because I know it now doesn't mean that it's like embarrassing to not have known it then, but it feels it in a way that we were so naive. But I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, but do you know that I think to have a startup that's successful, you have to have a certain amount of naivety.
Yeah, you do.
You know that. Well, how hard can it be? I think Jason actually said that in his. You know, that's your kind of mindset. Is well, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And in fairness, that is naive because you know how hard it is. But if you don't have that mindset at the start, you know, you wouldn't try. You wouldn't even start it, would you?
Exactly. And I think, if you knew how hard it was going to be, like, why would you put yourself through it, really? So we learned so much in that period. And I think when the acquisition happened, usually what happens with businesses is like you get investment, you grow, you scale, you grow a team, then you get investment again, happens again. And then sometimes like the third time before you get an acquisition. Whereas we went straight from no investment to acquisition. So we again chucking ourselves in the deep end, and it was amazing. Learned so much from it, and I'm so grateful for it, and like so proud of it. And then it's a massive anticlimax after, because you've done this amazing thing that everyone like it's everyone's goal. And then you get to it and you're like, oh, what next? Like, you have to do something next. Like, I'm also not the kind of person that I think I could sit on a beach forever and not do anything. It'd be nice for a little bit. And we took a little bit of time out and like went traveling and stuff. And whilst we were out there, we had the idea for CLIQ within like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I think in that time period, it's such a weird one because you feel like you've lost your identity a little bit.
This is what I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you lost your purpose, you've lost your spark.
Yeah, because and then you go to an event and you walk into a room and it's like, oh, so what do you do? And you're like, nothing. And like, yeah, I've sold a business, but it's like at that moment in time, you're not doing anything. And I think that's quite hard in one way to process, especially when you've been so busy and you've been working like sleepless nights, all of these things, to then go have like literally nothing to do. I feel like you're constantly searching for something. And I'm glad we did wait because there was a few like business ideas that came up that just like random things. We're like, should we do it? And I was like, no, we need to, one, like celebrate what we've done, look back on it and see everything that we'd achieved from the outside. Because I think also when you're so in it, it's very difficult to celebrate the wins and the milestones.
Yeah, I think that's a
happens all the
problem
time.
that most people have, or most driven people have. Is it's always, I try to remind myself about this a lot and talk about it a lot. But you've got to enjoy the journey, and I'm always guilty of this. But everyone's focused on the destination all the time. And you're building and you keep going. What was the time between when you sold to when you started CLIQ?
It's like 3 months.
Oh, okay, it wasn't long.
Maybe 4, yeah. So it was like end of October, and then I spent a bit of time in London, was like networking, trying to meet loads of people. I was like, I really want to get inspired again. And then we went to Bali for Christmas, and then we had the idea whilst we were in Bali. Yeah. And then we flew back like mid-January to just go straight in. I think when you have that idea that, we had loads of ideas, but none of them really stuck. It was like a passing thing, or that would be cool. This would be a nice idea. But this one, when we spoke about it, me and Jason were also so aligned, which is very rare, I think, to have one business together for a start, but then go and do a second one. But it was just like, I don't know, it felt like fate. It felt like I had this burning, like, I don't know, energy inside me where I was like, I need to try this. Yeah. 1, it's an issue. 2, it's something that we've faced and everyone's faced. But 3, like, everyone in the market is talking about community. There's nowhere for them to exist. So it kind of just made sense.
It's definitely the right time.
Yeah.
It's funny. He was telling me the story about you was in the cafe. Yeah. And you went to another cafe to do some designing. Yeah. And within an hour and a half, you'd come up with a name, trademarked it, bought the domain name.
Which I'm so glad I did.
Oh, yeah.
I think when you know, don't you? And it was just that thing where I was like, wow, this is coming together way too easily. Like, it wasn't hard to figure out. And I think so many people have a business idea and they sit for like months and months thinking even just like about a logo, a name, the brand, what it wants to be. But in like 2 hours, we had everything. And I was like, I felt like, it sounds stupid, like the universe gave us this idea, like we had to do it. Yeah. Like it felt like it was just meant to be. So yeah, we just went straight into it.
No, I love it. And so where is CLIQ at the minute? You've gone through investment rounds, you launched your initial product, you've gone into V1. I know you're doing some more development with that, but where is it? What part of the journey are you on with CLIQ at the minute?
Yeah, I think with CLIQ, it started off very slow. So the first, I'd say like 6 months of CLIQ were just really building the foundations, like getting to know our users, everyone that was going to use it, like what did they want, what features they want to see, how do they want it designed, all of that, and really use them as kind of like guinea pigs to figure out the app. Because at the beginning, it was a very, very basic app. I think you probably saw the first prototype, maybe. It had like 3 features. It was very, very basic. Designs weren't great, but it worked. And I think like in the first, I don't know if it was the first month, we had like 10,000 downloads. And it was like breaking every single day. So then just like really focus on the product for a while. And between me and Jason, like I'm more marketing, creative, partnerships, that type of thing. Jason's more product and tech. Yep. I think from the first business, we learned that we need to have separate roles. The first business, we were both doing like everything. Pretty much every call, we'd both be on it. Also because we wanted to learn and didn't really know what our skill sets were at that point. But also you kind of just don't want to miss out on anything in a way.
Yeah, I get that. And I think the best co-founder outcomes come from when everyone has, the 2 people have their individual jobs, and you 2 are quite disciplined with that from what I see. Yeah. So you focus on your own sort of niche, which means you actually get more done. Yeah. But you also become a bit more specialist as well. You've become very good at marketing and brand and design and everything like that, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm lucky to have two founders. I honestly don't know how solo founders do it, and they have to do like everything. At least with me and Jason, it's like you can split the tasks. But yeah, it does make you get so much better at what you're already enjoying. And for me, I was like, I don't like, obviously we're building an app, so I like tech, but like I don't want to work on tech. Like that doesn't interest me. Like being on a tech call where they're talking about all these different, I don't know, whatever they are. I'm like, what are they talking about? Yeah, exactly. But like marketing, creative stuff, that's where I really thrive. So I was like focusing on just building the brand presence, and just trying to engage our audience that we currently had, but also thinking about how do we engage new audiences while Jason was working on the product and tech. And then now I feel like we've been live with V1 about, gosh, I lose track of time.
No,
Yeah?
I think it's around a year. I think
Yeah.
it was like summer last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The
summer
launch
last
event.
year. Yeah, because we did our launch event
Yeah.
like pretty much now. So our V1's been live about a year, and it's just been reiterating on that. Like we've got new designs coming out soon, which is really exciting because I feel like we've got to a point where we've built all the features that we need. We don't really need any more features. So now it's just like making the app better, and making it look better and more user friendly. Yeah, we just went through our investment round. Well, actually, it was quite a while ago now, but another investment round at the moment. It's like constant raising, which is exciting. But I think what I've learned from previous rounds is be picky with who you have on. And we were very picky
It's
with
not
the
just
first
about
round.
the money.
It's not. It's not. We were very picky with the first round. I'm glad we were because everyone's so amazing. And now I want to keep building that amazing team, which is why sometimes I think founders get in such a rush to raise, they take the wrong money and then they regret it. I think we're in a good place that there is a rush, but it's not like we need to get it closed tomorrow. And we're not like just need to take anyone's money. And it makes us be able to build better foundations for business and build a better team. And same with our team as well. Like we're ready to hire soon, but just having that mindset of don't just take anyone.
No.
It's not a rush. See what happens and get the right people involved.
Yeah, well, I think you want to build the right culture, obviously, within, and that is from an investment perspective, because you've got some great people around you who can open a lot of doors, but also, you know, there to help and support with business, also, you know, mindset stuff as well. You've got some people on your board. But, you know, staff make or break a business. So that culture is so important. I think it's always, for me, culture first, skills second.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the skills can be trained and taught.
That's so
but
true.
you can't change someone's values and beliefs.
No, you can't. And if they're not a right fit, personally, then they're never going to be a right fit. But like you said, you can mold people into what you want them to be. And I think we've learned that with investors, team, advisory board, that the people you have around you is so important.
Yeah.
Because as founders, like, you can be so tunnel vision all the time to be like, this is the best way to do things. Everyone's going to love this if we do it. But the reality is, probably not.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get other people's opinions. You need to speak to people. And you need to get other people involved because it gets to a point where it's not about you anymore. At the beginning of the business, when you start something and like before you've launched it and all this, it's kind of just about you. Whereas now we're in a place where CLIQ isn't about us anymore. It's about so many more people.
It's about your users, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about what they want and what's going
Exactly.
to be most beneficial to them. And I think that's a really good skill because most people, well, not most, but a lot of people can take things personally. You know, I built this is my product. And if you're able to step back from that and say, you know, what's wrong with this? You know, what's broken? What needs to be better? And you can take that on constructively. You're only going to have a better business and a better product.
Yeah, like you can never be offended. I think you really do have to let the ego drop when people give you feedback. And I remember in the first business, someone would be like, I hate it or whatever. I don't like it. It's not going to work. I would take it to heart so much. Like I would not sleep at night. I would be crying. Now I'm like, okay, it's just not for you, but how do we make it for you? How do we make it better? But I think that's something you learn with time is to have a thicker skin because not everyone's going to like it. Not everyone's going to agree with it. I think with CLIQ, we're in such a different place that it's so much more applicable to so many more people. With the beauty business before, it's only really applicable to beauty professionals and people that book beauty appointments. So a lot of the time when we were speaking to like investors, it's men that just didn't get it. And that was quite difficult, especially as our first business, to realize, okay, not everyone's going to like this. There's going to be a lot of people out there that don't agree with what we're doing, that don't think it's going to work. When in my head, I was like, everyone's going to love it. It's going to be like the best thing ever. Loads of people are going to give me money. Like, it's going to be so easy. Very naive again. And it wasn't like that. Whereas I think with CLIQ, even if someone doesn't really get it, they understand the issue that we're solving and they potentially know someone that's gone through something that it would help them.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly, you know, when we first spoke, it must be a year and a half, maybe even longer. I saw the issue first night, I think we was literally on a call about half hour, and I was like,
you
I'm in.
were.
Like,
You were. You were
just
the
because
quickest
I just got it so quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was on my list that year to invest in a tech startup kind of business. And I just got it so quickly because I saw it within my own family and just the way that the world was going. And I think it just is such a good, it's got such a good cause that can help so many people.
Yeah, exactly. It just makes sense. Like with the app having everything in one place for people to meet people, to find events, to get in person. But also it's that hybrid model of like safe spaces online beforehand. So even if you've never been to a community event before, you download CLIQ, you put what you're interested in, it shows you things, and there's group chats online. Like you can dip your toes in a little bit before you do go to that event. And then you feel so much more comfortable when you do turn up to the event because you've chatted with people before, you can see who's going. Whereas like ticketing platforms and all these other apps, I'm like, you're missing something huge here. Like you're so focused on these big ticket sales, there's no community. And people want community now. They don't just want tickets.
Yeah.
And I think like it's just crazy that no one's done this still.
Someone can turn up to one of your events by themselves. You know, they can see who's going.
Yeah.
Like you say, they can have a chat with a couple of people. Whereas someone wants to go to, you know, wherever, Run Club and buy it for Eventbrite or whatever it is, they've got no idea.
You don't know.
They could turn up. They could be, you know, they could be the only girl there, for example. You
be the
wouldn't-
person there, like you don't know. You have no idea. And it just doesn't give you that full picture. And I think now people want that. Like it's so scary to go to an event on your own. I remember the first time I went to an event on my own, like a networking event, I was like shaking. Like you'd stand in the corner and be like, I don't know what to say to people. It obviously gets so much easier the more that you do it. But for those people that it's their first time, like how do we make it so easy for them that no matter who you are, where you're from, what you do, you come onto CLIQ and you can find that community that you really resonate with. And now as well, it's about making the app such a personalized experience for people. So it feels like it knows you. So like we could open the app up and it's totally different because we're different demographics, different interests. And how do we do that for everyone? So it's more like a personal social media as opposed to we go on current social media and you just see everything. Yeah. You see things that you're not even following, people that you don't even really care about. You're just scrolling, you're just addicted to your phone. Whereas with CLIQ, you want to go on it and be like, oh, this is really cool, I want to go, and have that really like authentic connection with the people on the app.
Yeah, I love it. And what's the goal? Where's CLIQ going to go to?
Well, we just want to be like the biggest community app. And there hasn't been really a community app yet, which is so exciting. And people always say to us, like, especially investors, like, how are you going to take over Facebook? I'm like, we're not taking over Facebook. Like, we're creating a completely new wave of social media. And even though we call it social media and social networking, it's more down the community kind of app element. And we just want to be that household name for, one, you want to find a community, you want to meet new people, you want to find an event, you think of CLIQ. But two, if you're running your own thing, if you've got your own community, if you're running your own events, you think of CLIQ. And also on the brand side of things, brands now have this huge community budget and they don't know what to do with it. They're just like starting a run club because they think that's what's cool and trendy because everyone's doing it. But like I was saying, there's so much more you can do with community. So we also want to be that amazing marketing tool for brands to come to us and access all of these people. So kind of playing with 3 different customers. We have like our end users, we have our community leaders, and then we have like the brands and the influencers, which I think makes it so exciting. But yeah, at the moment, we're live in the UK. We're also live in Australia and the US. We're actually live all over the world. So you can go and download CLIQ wherever you are in the world. But at the moment, just like following those trends of where we're seeing communities signing up. But for us, it's like, how do we make this a global app where anyone that moves to a new city, goes to a new country, whatever it is, the first thing they think of is, I'm going to download CLIQ. Yeah. That's really what we want.
I love it. Well, you said, you know, you've obviously got your own community. You've also got Ella who works for you, who's got hers. And I think she'd built up the largest, was it Girls Who Walk?
Yeah, girl walking group.
Yeah, and that was before she even joined CLIQ, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that's how we hired her. Yeah. So she actually had one of the probably biggest and fastest growing communities on the app. And then I think what sets us apart from other apps is we have such a strong relationship with our community leaders. So the people that are running their own communities and their own events, we're literally in their WhatsApps. We're like contactable all the time because I think that's what sets us apart to creating a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group or whatever it is. Like you don't get any support. So Ella was just chatting with us all the time. And then I think she came to London and we met up with her. And then she was saying how she's looking for a job. And I was like, come work for us. I don't need to see your CV. I don't need to see anything. Like you've built something that is so valuable to us, but also you have so much knowledge of how to build a community, what makes a good community. And she already knew how to use the app. We don't have to train someone on how to even like use the app or our values or anything because she knew everything.
Yeah, she was ready.
So she just slotted straight in, which is so perfect. And like I know that's a very different case study, but with our team moving forward, like imagine if we could have people in the team that built all their own communities, or people that wanted to build their own communities and we supported them. That's really what, like, the kind of culture that we want to build.
Yeah. So communities, obviously, you know, as we said, it's like the buzzword at the minute, and a lot of people want to get into it and create their own community. So we're going to do a little mini masterclass, because I'd say you're probably best placed out of most of the people I know to tell us how we're going to do that. So no pressure. So, you know, someone is, you know, they want to start their own community. Where do they start? What do they do? What kind of things are they looking for? You know, how do they get started?
Yeah, I think the first thing is figuring out like the niche of the community is. We have so many people that come to us and they're like, oh, I really want to start a run club. I say run club because it's just the
Everyone does
easiest. I want to start a run club, but everyone's got a run club. So what do I do? And we always say that, like, find your niche. Like, not every run club is the same, like, because it's run by a different person. And you will bring different qualities to that run club that anyone else will. But thinking about the niche, do you want it to be for, I don't know, creative? Do you want it to be for female founders? Do you want it to be for beginner runners? Do you want it to be really fast paced? Whatever it is. I think really thinking about what that niche is and what sets you apart. I think like the branding and the naming and everything of a community is so important. And I think also that's what stands out about CLIQ is like you go on the app and you see all these amazing communities with really cool brands, names. They've like built it like businesses.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you look at other apps sometimes, say like a Facebook group, and it just allows anyone to create anything with anything. Do you know what I mean? So like we have a really strict approval system in the back end. So if someone created like a group with like a picture of a tree and was like run club, like it's gonna get deleted.
Okay.
Because like why would anyone join that? There's no purpose for anyone to join that. Like I think you need to have like a strong brand. And I think we live in a world now where it's so easy to create a brand. Like Canva is like the best tool ever. Like our app, current app, was all designed by Jason on Canva.
Yeah.
Literally like button by button. It's not going to be in the new designs. We've evolved from Canva. But I think it's so easy to be able to create things now because we have all the tools at our disposal, mostly for free. So I think really thinking about like the positioning, the niche, the brand, and who you want to appeal to is the first steps. The second step is go on CLIQ.
Yeah, I was expecting that one.
I think like we just make it so easy to build a community. I think when people go to create a community, they think about the platforms that they want to use, and it's like you've got WhatsApps for chats. There's also like Discords or Slacks as well. And then you've also got to think about, okay, if I want to do events, I need a ticketing platform. So then you want Eventbrite or Ticket Tailor or Dice or whatever you're using. Sometimes people have Facebook groups, but I don't think a lot of the demographic for communities is on Facebook. I think Facebook's very much an older generational thing now. But people still think like I need to create a Facebook group because people are still searching on Facebook for communities, especially when they move to new countries and new cities. Think about that. Then they're thinking about in the future, do I want it to be on a white label platform? Like there's so many platforms to think about. And then alongside that, you've also got your Instagram, you've got your TikTok, you might have like your LinkedIn. We are trying to promote, create content.
Yeah.
Like there's so much noise, so overwhelming to start a community. Whereas we're like, we take everything out of that. You just need to focus on creating events. You need to focus on your social media, creating content, and actually being present at the events and networking. We take all the admin pressure off of you. So you don't need WhatsApp, you don't need Facebook groups, you don't need anything. You just need CLIQ and all exists under one roof. And then as well, like CLIQ obviously helps you to market your community. It helps you to connect with other community leaders. Like you can lean on us as a team. And then like the brand positioning and getting brands involved in your community as well. So there's so much more that we offer. And then I think it's like thinking about what do you want your first like event to be? I always say you don't have to go huge. Like people see like
Start with 4 people.
Yeah,
like
literally
easy.
start with 4 people around a dinner and everyone pays for their own dinner. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like go for a walk and grab a coffee. Like do a Pilates class in the park. Like you could literally do anything and you can do it on really low cost. I think people see communities and they see these big like panel talks with hundreds of people where people have spent thousands on a venue and there's like drinks and everything and people have spent like £50 on tickets and they do that for their first event. Like, you don't even know.
Bit overkill.
It is. And you don't even know like your market and the people that are in your community. Like what can they even afford? What do they want to go to? What are they happy to spend their money on? So I think doing smaller events at the beginning is a really good way to test it out. And even now when I look at our bigger communities, yeah, they do these amazing events that sell out £50 every single time, but they also do the free events on the side.
Yeah.
Because the free events are what get people, like new people through the door, really low barrier to entry. They can come see the community and be like, no, actually, I really love this community. I'm happy to pay £50. Whereas if you expect people to pay £50 straight away, like you've got to either be really well known or well established in some form to get people to come to that. So I think thinking about the type of event you want to do, just going for it. Like if 2 people turn up, 2 people turn up. Like you just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like that is the reality of it. And then you'll look further down the line and you'll have hundreds of people in your community. You'll be so grateful that first time. But I think so many people, they create this community, do the first event, it fails when it hasn't. Because I think if you can change one person's life and one person's experience,
And,
it's not a failure.
success.
But just because it's not going to look sexy on social media, people quit.
Yeah, but that's the problem with the world is everything's about perception.
Yeah.
But with the community, you know, it's very much the ripple effect, isn't it? You know, even if you got 2 or 3 people there the first time, they tell a friend,
Exactly.
they come along, they tell a friend, you know, and the more and more that happens, it just starts to spread. And I've seen that, you know, my girlfriend's part of a run club, and since she's joined, more and more people each week, 5, 10 new people each week.
Exactly.
You say that you help people to market their community. So how do you do that?
Yeah, so we help them quite a lot of things. One thing is just the app in general is a great marketing tool because people are downloading it, putting what they're interested in. So say you're interested in running, it shows you the run clubs. People can discover new run clubs. Whereas if you use like a white label platform, then you've got to get the users into it. Whereas on CLIQ, people are getting so much traction and their community's growing so much because we're getting the downloads from new people that are joining their community. So there's that. But then also in the background, we help people with content. So we have like in-house videographer, so we can go to events, we can create content with them, showcase them. We're really active on our socials, trying to showcase different communities and different events. Because I feel like we've built such a strong community on CLIQ of like people that just love CLIQ and want to go to different events and try different things out. So getting so much traction for people from that. And then just like being a team to lean on, like anything that anyone asks us, like we're so happy to support with. And I think, like I said, that's what sets us apart because someone come to us and be like, oh, I've got an event next week, my venue's pulled out, what do I do? And I'm like, we'll help you find a venue. Or it's like, oh, I need a drinks brand, we help them to find that. They're like, oh, I'm really struggling with ticket sales, can you help me? And we're like, oh, post on our socials. Like whatever we can do to help people.
That's something that other platforms are not doing, is it?
Not at all. And I think that's because people don't really understand what it's like to feel the need to meet people, to be potentially lonely, whatever it is, to want to be part of a community. All these bigger platforms, like they don't understand that. And that's why I think they're doing it wrong. Whereas I think us as a team and the people we have around us understand the mission so much because we've been through it ourselves. So we want to help people. And like I said, it's that purpose that drives me. And it's actually helping people and seeing these communities grow. Like we've had communities that start, and to be honest, I'm like, this isn't going to be a thing. Like, why would who's going to join these types of communities? And then you see they start to get better and they start creating logos and they start doing really cool content and they start growing. And then on the app, they've got like thousands of members. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And we can also see really cool trends happening. So we'll see like a trend of like certain types of communities starting. Like, I think we kind of predicted a bit of a supper club trend before it was starting because we were seeing in the back end people creating supper clubs and all that kind of thing. So we can have really good trend forecasting of what's going to be next as well. And that also helps people because people are like, oh, I'm really stuck for an idea on an event. I'm like, why don't you try like a paddle event? Why don't you try this? Because we can see what's doing well in the app and what people are liking. Yeah. So we can help other communities to do that.
That's interesting. So you can give ideas to people if they're a bit stuck and they're not too sure, you know, if they need to pivot or start a new one. You've got that.
Exactly. And I think like in business, a lot of people like gatekeep a lot of stuff. And you feel like, oh, it's my contacts, it's my knowledge, like I'm going to keep it. But for us at CLIQ, I think it's so nice to be able to share everything that we know, that we learn. Even me having my own community or me being a founder, I think that's so applicable to people that are building their own communities. So the more that I can help them with things, then it's just going to help CLIQ in return anyway. And it's like we're all just helping each other.
Yeah, I think, you know, you're going to get good karma. The more you try and help people, you know, you always get it back in one way or another, don't you? So it's good to be as open as possible.
Definitely.
You touched on something at the start, which was kind of about balance and making sure that you look after yourself as well as work very hard. And I know you've done a few LinkedIn posts about this as well. So what does that look like for you? You know, how do you sort of relax, come away from work, spend some downtime? What kind of things are you doing?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Yep.
It's really hard because like CLIQ is our baby. And I think as well, me and Jason having the business together kind of really is no switch off because at some point one person's thinking about it, which in return, like you're cooking dinner, you're doing this, whatever, like you just end up talking about it. But I love it. Yeah. I feel like because we're both so passionate about it and because we're in these like early stages where everything's so exciting, we want to talk about all the time. But I'm really passionate about like get out the house. So like I think because we work from home a lot now, and just like working later last night, I was sat in bed doing an email at 11 p.m. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's just so easy when you're at home to grab the laptop because it's just such second nature now. Whereas I think previously, before like work from home was a thing, I bet people didn't really think about that. Home was home,
Yeah,
office
it's
was
easier
work.
to separate the two then, wasn't it?
Yeah, whereas now we don't really have that. So I'm really like, okay, if I'm feeling a bit burnt out, if I feel like I'm not really getting anywhere with work, or I know I kind of need to switch off and it's a little bit later in the day, go for a walk,
Yeah.
get out, like be away from the laptop and leave phone at home if you can. Like if you can go somewhere and leave your phone at home, I think that's so nice just to have that break from technology.
Yeah.
And always like the best ideas come from when you are out on that walk or when you are in the gym or whatever anyway. Like the best ideas don't come from when you're sat in front of the laptop. So I'm really like, how do you get out of the house? Because I think that does separate it. I'm very big on like wellness and like looking after yourself because also I think of the first business, I was just like go, go, go all the time. And even though I'm still go, go now, it's in a different way. With the first business, it would literally like wake up, laptop, work all day till you go to sleep. Not get out of the house, not do anything, not really speak to anyone, just be so in on it. But I think with that, we were learning at the same time. We were also so young, like we just had so much to do and so much to learn. Whereas now, I feel like I'm in such a better place that, yeah, I can be go, 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 but I can have times in the day where I can take myself away from work. And I think that's the beauty of owning your own schedule. I think that's what I like the most about being a founder is freedom in a way. I know I don't have total freedom because I do have to work today, but like I can come do this in the morning.
And not feel guilty about it. And that's the biggest thing because a lot of people do. You know, they go and spend an hour going to the gym and they're just filled with guilt that they should be working, should be sending emails. And it's just,
what's the point in even going? And I think at the beginning of CLIQ, I was going to so many of our events, which was amazing. But at the time, I was so stressed because I felt like I wasn't working. And I still get that now sometimes. If I haven't sat at the laptop and blasted through a few hours of work, I feel like I'm not working. Even though this is work, going to events and meeting people is work. And I think the reason we've been able to grow so quick with CLIQ is because we've been out there, we've been speaking to people and we've been at the events and we've been networking so much. Whereas I think if you just sit behind your laptop, you're not going to meet anyone. The business isn't going to do as well. So I think it's also reframing what work is because I was like, work is just laptop, events is social. But it's not really because I don't know anyone. They're not my friends. Like it is still work, even though I feel like I'm being social because I'm chatting to people. There's purpose behind a lot of it. So I think seeing what work is, and to me now I'm like, okay, this is work. Okay, going to that event is work. Having that in-person meeting is work. So I think it's also reframing what work is as well, so you don't feel as guilty.
There's a perception of work that I think a lot of employees see is exactly that. You know, they're sat at their computer, they're on the phone. When you run your own business, work can be anything. As long as you feel like it's adding value and it's being productive in one way or another. And that can just be going to an event and chatting to people. But you're learning about that event. You're learning what people like, what they don't like. You're taking that feedback back to go and improve your business. So
even like going to the gym, like it's a form of work because you're working on yourself. You're working on obviously your physical, but like your mental health. And you know, like when you're having like the worst day ever, and if you sit there and just sitting it, it's not going to get any better. If you go to the gym, you come back and you're like, oh, I even forgot I was having a bad day. Because the endorphins and all this stuff. But I think we don't prioritize that enough because we don't see it as work. Whereas now I'm really passionate about, okay, how do you actually like look after yourself within this? Because it's stressful. And there's so many moments where you feel like everything's going wrong and the business is going to shut down tomorrow. There's so many of those constantly. So I'm like, if you look after yourself, then at least you know you can be more level-headed in those moments.
100%. So for anyone listening who is running a business or wants to start a business with their partner, what's some advice you could give to them? Because it is a challenge. You know, you're always talking about it. It's hard to switch off. What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think it also has to be the right person. Every time I meet someone and they find out that I do the business with Jason, they're like, oh my God, I could never do that, my partner. And I'm like, just because you couldn't do it doesn't mean that other people can't. But I think it's figuring out if you can actually work together first. And you don't have to go straight in with a business. You can try something, maybe just trying something else together first, like a project or something, seeing if you work well together. Because a lot of the time, you get into the depths of it, and I've seen it happen, and people realize, even just co-founder relationships, that it's not for them. And then I think if you've got a relationship alongside of that, it's so tricky. So I think just making sure that you're going to be well aligned, you've got different skill sets, like you can really bounce ideas off each other, but you can also bring each other up and help each other and support each other, I think is really important. I think like, I want to say like switch off, but you can't.
Yeah.
It's like I said, taking yourself out of the situation. Like if you're going to do something together, like go for dinner, go for coffee, go for brunch, get out the house. Because otherwise you're just going to be so all consumed by it. And also don't feel guilty for like making it your life. I think there's a lot of stuff out there where it's like you must switch off. And when I speak to people, they're like, oh, do you have like rules like no speaking about business after 8 p.m.? I'm like, that's so strict as well.
It's not the reality.
It's not reality because half the time when you run your own business, something does come up at 8 p.m. But the beauty of it is that Jason's sat on the sofa and I'm in the kitchen so we can talk about it. I don't need to wait tomorrow to call him to find out his opinion on
It's
something.
so unproductive as well, isn't it? You know, if you've got an idea at 8 o'clock, who's waiting until the morning? You've forgotten about it by then.
Sorry, can't talk about this right now. Like, it's just not. So I think, like, don't feel guilty about it being, like, your whole life. Because if you're so passionate about something, why would you not want it to be that way? And, like, I always compare it to having a baby. Like, I've never had a baby. And probably people that have had babies are like, she's crazy. But it's probably the same type of thing. Like, you don't go to dinner and not think about the baby. You still go, and it's still in the back of your mind. You still want to talk about it because it's yours. And it's something that both of you are so passionate about. And I think people try and make you feel guilty for like not being able to switch off. But I think when you don't want to switch off, as long as you know your limits and as long as you know that you need to take time out for yourself and time out for your relationship, whatever way that looks, I think that's fine. And there's like no one size fits all. But I think like don't get trapped into that guilt.
Yeah, I think it's having the self-awareness to know when to work, when to take some time out. I was having a conversation with someone recently and, you know, she was like, well, you need to try and switch off a little bit. And I was like, I'm all right. I don't want to switch off. I'd like to be a bit more present sometimes.
Yes, different.
And that's something I'm working on quite a lot, unsuccessfully at times.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to switch off. I love doing what I do.
Exactly.
So
I agree. Yeah, I agree massively. I think it's, people have different perceptions on it. And I think people don't really understand until you have a business that it is all consuming. It's not a 9-to-5 where you do shut the laptop down and you don't think about it and you wait till 9 next day. Like, it just doesn't work like that. There's so much that can happen. And I think as well with CLIQ, like it's quite like a weekend and evening app. So in terms of like our engagement, because that's when the events are. Yeah. So like throughout the daytime in the week, people are probably on the app scrolling, trying to find things. But the events are happening on weekends and evenings, which is very unsociable for us because we just need to be on it. Like with customer service, app issues, all of these things, like the team need to be on it at weekends because it's a really important period for us. No. So also like at weekends, me and Jason do work a little bit, but then we're like, okay, let's do something because we need to take ourselves away from it because otherwise you'll just get sucked into it and then it'll be like 6 p.m. at night and you're like, done nothing.
Haven't done anything this weekend.
Exactly.
Okay, so at the end of every episode, we ask each guest for 3 pieces of actionable advice that the listeners can take. And the benefit, or the reason this is that every guest has got different experiences. You know, they're working on something different. And if people can take all of those pieces, you know, they can really move their life along or their business along, whatever it may be that they're working on. So what would your 3 pieces of advice be based upon, you know, your experience?
Yeah, I think the first one is probably like test everything as much as you can. So like with the first business, we didn't really test any of it. We just went straight into it, which in a way kind of helped us to figure out what was the right thing to do. But I think now with CLIQ, we're so passionate about like testing things and make sure it works, whether it's with the app or whether you're building a product, whether you're building a community, whatever it is, like start really small, figure out if people want it, and then go and build it. Because I think you can spend so much time and so much money on creating something, and if it's not what your audience wants, then what's the point? Yeah. So I think really testing it, and whether it's between you and a few people or whether you got kind of like a wider market with it, but finding those core people that will really help you. And I think that's a really valid point when you're starting anything, is to test it first. Second one.
You wait till you get to number 3.
Gosh, this is so hard. I think in the early stages, well, you need to get out there, like speaking to people, new people all the time. with the first business. I feel like I've learned so much from the first business that's made me.
But it
so
stood
much
you in
better
good
thing.
stead for where you are today. Without that,
Exactly.
CLIQ might not be where it is today.
Exactly. With the first business, didn't know any founders, didn't know anyone that started a business. When we were like raising investment, didn't know anyone that was an investor. I didn't know anyone that raised investment, even like had a lot of money. Like we just didn't have that network. Whereas with CLIQ, I was like, okay, in the first 6 months, like I need to be everywhere. I need to be going to every single event, speaking to everyone and building my network up. And now I'm in a place where I can be a bit more picky with the things that I go to because I've got so many amazing people around me, and then they've introduced me to people, and then it's just happened in a snowball effect. But that wouldn't have happened if I didn't go to all those networking events at the very beginning. And it can be time consuming, but I think as well in those early stages, like you want to be around like-minded people as well.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it drives you along, makes you think of new things, but you know, your network, your network is your net worth, as always gets bashed around that phrase, but it's so true. I think the more you can reach out to people for help, advice, contacts, whatever it may be, it just pushes you along so much quicker.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if I hadn't have done that at the beginning, you don't have to do it for 6 months. It could be a month, it could be 3 months. But just really getting out there and speaking to people, because you want to get the idea in people's heads as well, and like see what their expression is when you speak about it. And then you can just get so much feedback from it, which I think is so valuable. And then third one, oh my God. I had so many ideas earlier, now they've all gone because I feel like we spoke about so much. Third one, actionable tips. Personal brand.
I knew you was going to say that one.
I nearly missed that one. But with the first business, again, didn't really build a personal brand, didn't really like have a face of the brand. Me and Jason weren't really active. We didn't really do anything. Until we got the acquisition, we started doing a few more bits, like a few more press things. But we didn't really utilize our Instagrams, our LinkedIns, anything like that. Whereas now, like I get so much value and so many opportunities, and CLIQ's grown so much, I think, because me and Jason have put ourselves forward as faces of the brand. One, it's so relatable to the users. But two, like I have so much knowledge, I want to share it with people. Like I've gotten to a point where I'm like, what's the point in me gatekeeping all this knowledge, like a lot of people do? So like, if I can do a video or a podcast or whatever and have one actual tip like this, and it makes someone go and do something and push themselves out their comfort zone, then that's so amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's how we change the world, is by sharing our knowledge and helping people. Yeah. And I think personal brand, as well as helping the business, can also do that.
100%.
And I think when you get into it, it's something you realise you actually enjoy. I think at the beginning I was like, I don't want to put myself out there because I don't want people to hate me.
Yeah.
I'm like, people can hate CLIQ. Yeah, like it's fine, it's not me. But when it's like you, I'm like, what if people hate me? But I don't know why, but you just have that perception in your head. And then once you get over that and realise it's actually so valuable and it's actually so enjoyable to build a personal brand alongside your business, because both of them feed into each other, I think that's so important. I think I see loads of companies now that don't even have a product yet and they're building a personal brand, and everyone's so invested. And then when they launch that product and they have that drop, it sells out straight away.
Yeah, it's that distribution now.
Yeah.
I think distribution is one of the key things, and that mainly comes from having that online presence. For anyone listening, we had a couple of guests recently that have built personal brands and are personal branding coaches, so they can go back and listen to them. But I think, all three brilliant pieces of advice there, and I hope people take that and implement it into their life. But Nicola, it's been amazing having you on. I've really enjoyed the story with CLIQ so far and can't wait to see where it goes. And thank you for coming on Driven Podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the Driven Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment to let us know what you found most insightful. But most importantly, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next episode.